Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it a game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I am your host, femininity coach, and author of the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So what are we talking about? And how Black women help destroy Black men. And this is tied into what I've been talking about generational curses. And one of the reasons how Black women continue to perpetuate, or why we continue to perpetuate, is because we're not really changing how we think. We're not changing how we view the world. We're not changing how we view ourselves. We're not changing how we view our men. We're not changing any of those things. And so therefore, change is difficult or almost impossible to come by. But what I want to do right now is I am going to share a video with you and let Auntie Shahrazad Ali let us know what's going on. And then I'm going to be back with my perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to share the screen real quick. Y'all know how we do.
Everybody hates. We hate a man who everybody hates. We hate him. His mama hate him. His family hate him. The white police hate him. The regular white men and white women hate him. This is a man who is hated by everyone. The only solace that God made for him was us. And when he comes to us and can't get any sanctuary at all, then he don't have no life. And then they win, because what they want to do is to destroy him and make us think that we are better than him, so that we will help the enemy destroy our own man. That God gave a man who...
I had to let Auntie let y'all know what was going on. And she put it so beautifully that this is a man that is hated. Everybody has been taught to hate the Black man, to distrust him, to view him as less than, to view him as not worthy of anything. It was one of the things that I was talking about on the live stream that I did yesterday that you can check out right here, where I was talking about the young man in the report, a young man who doesn't have any direction, doesn't have anything going for himself in terms of someone telling him or teaching him what he needs to do and how he needs to be a man. And then we would look at him and call him a deadbeat, out of the context, even outside of the context of his life. And we think of all Black men that way, whether they're boys or adults. If they're not doing what the collective of Black women think that they should be doing, then he's automatically nothing. And this is actually one of the reasons why we remain caught up in our generational curses, is because we continue to believe in the hatred of our men. We continue to believe in his worthlessness. We continue to believe in his uselessness. We continue to believe that he has no value, that he has no ambition, that he is deficient in his masculinity, and that he is inferior to every other type of man, and that he himself is barely a man. He's barely a human being. He's barely somebody that has any value at all. And the only use that we could possibly ever get out of such a man is sex, money, and whatever other non-sexual services that he might be able to render to us. Can we get him to come fix our car? Can we get him to come do some maintenance work in our apartment? Can we get him to, watch our kids? Can we get him to drop something off or pick something up for us, or do some type of what we consider to be man work, or what we consider to be the work of a beast of burden, which is really what it boils down to for us as Black women. because he's not worth anything. And this is the story that we not only tell ourselves, but we tell our daughters this same thing. We tell them from little girls that the men around them, regardless of the fact, we can be living in a 2-parent household where that man, her father, is doing everything that he possibly can do as a husband and a father to take care of his family, and we'll still tell our daughters that men aren't nothing, that black men aren't nothing, that her father might be a one-off, and even he is not really worth anything because your daddy, I remember when your daddy did this, that, and the third, and we'll begin to expose his shortcomings to our children. We'll expose whatever he may have done in our personal relationship that I may not have liked. We'll expose that to our daughters to illustrate the fact that he's not nothing. And we rob her of what all children think of when they think of their fathers. They think of the superhero. They think of the man that can't be hurt, the man that can't be, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even mean that in a bad way, but when little girls are growing up with their fathers, and even we don't even have to be little, we can continue to do this as we are adults. We look at our fathers as invincible men. We look at our fathers as these super strong, always got it together, always can know what to do, always can handle it, you know what I'm saying? Always can help us, always got his life together, always got, you know what I'm saying? We think of him as a superhero. We think of our father as, you know what I'm saying, nothing can hurt him. I still thought that as an adult woman with my father as he was dying of cancer. He beat it like twice though, right? So we like, okay, daddy kind of invincible though, you know what I'm saying? And I knew logically that my father is a human being and he can be hurt, and that this is actually taking a large toll on him physically and mentally and emotionally. But still, I had that belief in him that this is a man who has always been strong. This is a man who has always, you know what I'm saying, daddy couldn't do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? Daddy could, man, listen, better not nobody mess with my daddy. And what we'll do is we will rob our children of that. We'll tell our daughters, we'll expose her father's shortcomings that she should know to her to illustrate the point that even her father that she holds in high esteem is not worth anything. But then also, we tell that story to our sons. We tell our sons that he doesn't matter unless the women in his life validate him or need him. And then we wonder why he don't see no value in himself unless he's bagging a bunch of chicks, because those girls validate his masculinity or what we told him his masculinity needs to be. So basically, we're telling him that serving himself, loving himself, or valuing himself doesn't serve anyone and is a waste of his time and energy. Okay, we don't give him any leeway, or we don't give him any sort of avenue to say it's okay for him to do something that is self-serving for him, to do something that shows himself self-love, to do something that shows himself that he has a value outside of the value that women give him, or outside of the value that, you know what I'm saying, that he, quote unquote, gets from serving the women in his life, right? We tell our sons that stuff. We tell him this either overtly, or we tell it to him by how we reward him if he do something for us, punish him if he does something for himself. So basically what we tell, the message that we giving him is that if he devotes any time or energy or money to improving himself in ways that don't directly benefit the women in his life, then he's stupid and he's selfish for doing it. So if he looks to improve himself in some way that improves him, that only serves him, right, that doesn't directly benefit his mama or his sister or his daughter or whatever, that his girlfriend, whatever the case may be, if he's doing something that doesn't directly, she can look at it and say, okay, this is how I benefit from his doing this, that, or the third, we'll discourage him from actually doing so by telling him he's being selfish, by telling him that he's not thinking of what about us? You know, how could you go and do this thing and not think about us? And what we're telling him is that it's not worth anything for him to think about him. Why is he doing something that he think about him for? And we'll ridicule him for his selfishness, despite the fact that we continue to be completely selfish. And the fact that we're ridiculing him about it is an act of selfishness on our part, because we don't want him to do anything or go out and spend his time, energy, money, his, you know what I'm saying, anything to improve himself if it doesn't directly benefit us. And the other thing that we do is that we will express to him that any amount of him showing himself self-love, self-care, taking care of himself in any way, mentally, emotionally, or whatever, is weak and effeminate. We'll tell him he's acting like a B word. We'll tell him that he acting like a female. If he goes out and does something just for the sake of self-care, he went out and bought himself a bunch of stuff, or he went out and made sure that, you know what I'm saying, whatever, he took a vacation, or he didn't take the women in his family with him. He went on his own. You know what I'm saying? Even something so simple as he went out this afternoon to hang with the guys and play basketball. Now, this was just for him. The women in his family didn't benefit off of him going to play basketball. But she'll squawk because he was gone too long and she needed him at the house to help her do X, Y, and Z. And then she'll make him feel bad about spending them 2 hours or 3 hours or however long just on his own or with his friends or whatever he might have been doing. And it puts it in his mind that he shouldn't do that, because if he takes that type of time out, his mama might have needed something, or his sister might have needed something, or his girlfriend might have wanted something, because he didn't answer the phone right away. Now all of a sudden he's a dirty dog. What was he doing? How dare he ignore you? How dare he not? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden it's an emergency that she needed. Don't need nothing no other time, except for when he go try to do something to be away from y'all, just to be with him, be by himself sometime, or be with some friends sometime, somewhere where he not getting nagged. Now all of a sudden he's a dirty scumbag for not wanting you to nag him. And so he ignored his phone for the 2 hours. He put it on do not disturb for right now, because he didn't want to hear you. He didn't want to see no text message. He didn't want to get no phone call, because he know all that you doing is saying something. So he'll have to cut short whatever it is he doing that was just for him, that's just to let him unwind and decompress, as if he don't need no decompressing time. We the only ones need decompressing time. And we actually tell our men this. We actually tell him that no matter what kind of pressure he under, he need to take it, and he don't need to say nothing, and he don't need to complain about it. Because if he complains about it, or if he says something about it, or he says he's uncomfortable with it, or he doesn't like it, or this is too much pressure right now because he's got these other things on his plate and he can't deal with that right now, then we'll call him weak. We'll demean him. We'll degrade him. We'll destroy him. We'll break his spirit. We'll try to break his mind, break his will, so that the only will that he has is the will to please us, the will to do whatever we want him to do. And then by associating self-love to effeminate behavior, this ultimately truly discourages him, because the last thing that a man wants is to be engaged in something that actually is an open affront to his masculinity. He doesn't want to engage in anything that make him look weak, because a man in this world can't afford to look weak, because he'll be devoured. He'll be ran over. He'll be taken advantage of. If the people and things in his environment regard him as weak, regard him as unable to protect himself or protect those whom he loves and that's under his cover, He can't afford to be seen as weak. So if you tell him that loving himself is weak and something only women can do, then he won't do it. And then he'll only serve you. But then he turns out to be this weak-minded man that you get online and complain about. So think about that next time you want to degrade a man for being a man and for not directly serving you at every moment. This is how we stay stuck in these generational curses, because you're not even changing how you think about it, no matter how many men in your life is being men in your life. You don't care. You're going to run with the narrative rather than the truth. So sound off in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor, who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.